Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world, when you're watching this, I hope that you are well. I want to take a look at the US and Trump in May. I'm not going to pull the four cards that I usually do. I'm just going to try a general reading. We'll look at the US first and then we'll take a look at Trump. You will know the backdrop to these readings. His response to the crisis has been an absolute failure, and it has cost lives. But first to the US. Now, some states are easing lockdown restrictions, even though they've not met that criteria or guideline for opening up again. There has been still a shortage of testing. And yet it is open up and be damned. What is going to occur in May? Numbers are going to spike, or you may find something else is there. But let's just have a look. In those states that were hardest hit, that are aggressively pursuing the kinds of strategies we know that work. For example, New York is putting on 17,000 contact tracers, ramping. There are governors, Democratic governors and Republican governor that comes to mind, that have purchased tests, including from South Korea. So anyone who has the kind of common sense, logic, intelligence even, understands that the two things that go hand in hand with opening up your economy are a downward spiral or a downturn in cases, new cases diagnosed, aggressive contact tracing, and aggressive testing. It's about managing. All right. So let's have a look at America, the US in general in May. Show me the US in general in May. Show me the US in general in May. I do feel that there's some hope there. The Six of Pentacles, the economy, giving and receiving help. When I link in, or when I feel into that energy, that talks to me about the need to still provide this help. So I don't see at this stage being in a good position to open things up again. But, there is also the case for region by region. So it's not a level playing field. Some regions are harder hit, some lesser hit. But there is this focus on the economy, and this is where I feel that it's going to start to bite in May. It already is biting, let's face it, in Australia as well. We've got very, very high unemployment now, multiple government stimulus packages, and we are still generally in lockdown, although we're easing some of those restrictions now. But our testing capacity, anyone who wants a test gets a test. And our contract tracing, we're now using an app that Australians can download to basically track if someone is diagnosed, then they can follow the spread and get it at its source. So we're putting Australia is a different scenario to America. We have all states falling in line with the federal government, regardless of whether they are conservative or not, or progressive states. And it's a far more unified picture than we have in America, with its with its multitude of political views, of states and political persuasions, and its demographics, huge. I mean, we have a small country and a small population in comparison. But there is this focus on the economy, and I think you're going to start to see, if you haven't seen it already, you're going to start to see the economic cracks really start to widen, unfortunately. The Princess of Wands is the challenge. Yeah, it is that you're only at almost at the not at the start, but you haven't reached your peak yet. So even though there's this rhetoric that the peak has been reached, it hasn't, and there's still this need for significant help and bailouts and. Yeah, unfortunately. The Princess of Pentacles is the foundation of the reading. Again, we're pulling these minor arcana cards here. So, I am feeling that you're not at your peak yet. I'm seeing the economy coming to the fore here, and that the need to protect, the need to when I think of the U.S. economy, it's like a huge ship, bearing down at great speed, and then to pull it up takes time. But this is what you're starting to see now. I think in May you're starting to see that ship slowing down, and it took a lot to slow that ship. Now I'm going to just concentrate very briefly on this card. When I was shuffling on the US, the Star of Hope flew out when I was preparing the decks for you. And so this is a good omen if you just want to take it while you're in the thick of everything. And it is so bleak, such a bleak picture. There is hope. So I'm feeling that the hope is going to those areas that have seen the worst of this will start to recover now. Those areas that haven't and that aren't pursuing lockdowns and starting to open up their economies, that's a different story. Overall, though, it takes a lot to stop that ship. In fact, it's near impossible to stop that ship when it's at full speed. It's going to slow, but it's not going to come to a screeching halt. So while we know that parts of America haven't peaked yet in terms of this crisis, I still want to stop on this card for just a little while. Just take some time out and stop and ponder the Star of Hope, because that is shining still over the bleakness that I'm reading in these cards. Okay, the Star of Hope is there, and I can see what's on the bottom of the pack, which is lovely as well. Unfortunately, as we know, with the Seven of Swords, the Thief card, the Liar card, the Deceit card, unfortunately, your leadership is what is damaging. It's just damaging the response, the management, and it's also damaging the economy as well. Now, meat processing plants, I understand, have been ordered under the Defence Production Act to stay open. And that is because there's this worry about shortage of food, but that's not doing anything in areas where those that will go to work could get this CV. So there's plenty of this, regardless of whichever corner you're on, whichever way you turn, however far you walk around that block, you're still going to confront the same thing, whether it's testing, whether it's stats on CV, which I understand Florida are now starting to pull back on providing. It's confronting this at every turn, because things are a pretty uphill battle. They didn't have to be like that. I want to say that with different leadership, you and I know they wouldn't. What is confronting the US wouldn't have been that bad. But right at the moment, we've got two really positive major arcana cards, which tells me that, again, with this Star of Hope, the Temperance card is balance. By the time you get to December, now I know that they're trying to fast track a vaccine, and they're saying with a collaboration of government, pharmaceuticals, scientists, etc., that they're going to have a vaccine in January. This Temperance card carries a timeline of December, so I feel, again, my original timeline at the beginning of all of this, I do feel there's going to be you're going to be pretty much out of that woods to a certain extent by December here. The environment around is the speed, unfortunately, at which this cat caught us all. Who would have thought earlier on in the year, last year, December last year, even November, December, before this became widely known, that we would be ending up here with big percentages of our workforce unable to get jobs. Yeah, it's the speed. But I do feel that this is also telling me that there is a balancing out of the speed at which that is going. So if you look at if you look at America in its entirety, at the beginning of the reading, I felt that it would soon start to become visible that some regions and states and even counties who did the right thing up front were now starting to recover. So this is all a part of the karmic lessons here, unfortunately. The hopes and the fears. I think there is a huge fear in America, like there is all over the world. That, I mean, in Australia, for example, we are allowed to download or to access some of our superannuation. We have a fairly strong superannuation scheme and system in Australia, and you generally can't draw on that until you're in your later on, much later on in your life. Well, we can draw. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can draw on up to, I think it is around 10,000 of your super. It's the same thing here. I'm seeing people very, very worried about their families and about their savings and about the future and about where this is all going. Which is why that Star of Hope is so interesting. Now we have the World card, endings and beginnings, sitting right alongside that Star of Hope. So. And the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so in May, there's going to be progress, a progress on something. I'm glad to bring forward that news. Something is just going to. It could be that that you're going. As I said, you're going to start to see. States and regions that are getting on top of this, but I still feel that is contingent upon lockdowns. The other aspect of the Hermit card is review and investigation as well. So that's figuring strongly. I can see the CV here, but I can also see a karmic kind of justice coming through here. I think in May you're also going to start to hear about the management of this, what is occurring in your country, how it was managed. You're just going to start to get more of a focus on review and investigation in May, generally across the board. Let's see what's at the bottom. Yeah, you've got Six of Swords, moving away from troubled waters. You've got communities that are going to be fine. So this isn't a one size fits all reading. There's going to be parts of your country that are doing quite well, and it is the parts of your country that acted logically, quickly to secure stability very early on are the ones that are going to move forward in this battle. But we've also got loss because it is learning the lessons. If you've got high numbers, then obviously opening up is not the way to go. We do have judgment here as well. So there's still this sort of like karmic political situation unfolding in the US, unfortunately. Those governors, states, mayors, leaders that did the right thing are going to start to come out of the woods a bit in May, and those that didn't, unfortunately, we've still got the speed at which this is going to hit. Let's see if easing of restrictions in those states that have, let's just say, peaked, is going to be okay. Let's have a look. Easing of restrictions in those states that have peaked and have managed this very well and very aggressively. Are they going to be, the easing of restrictions going to be okay? In those states that have managed this well, perhaps numbers have peaked. They're starting to see the declines. They're being very mindful that when you've got certain indicators lined up in a row, that's the time to ease restrictions. They're the states, the counties, the leaders, the cities. That's where I'm going with this question. With easing of restrictions, are these states that have done the right thing, managed it aggressively, will they be okay? Show me how that's all going to go for them. Prince of Cups. Yeah, I mean, this is still, it's an offer. There's also, going too quickly. It may not last. There's all sorts of things, but it's also an offer of something. Let's see what's clarified. Yeah, look, they want to offer their citizens relief. They are only too aware of the economic impact. These are heavy decisions crossing this night. Okay, so coming forward with an offer of easing restrictions, but it is a huge, huge decision to make. It's a crossroads decision. Unfortunately, we do have the Chariot, which is my card for the speed at which this has hit, but we're not into outcome cards yet. In the past, we've got giving and receiving help. That's an interesting card to come up because the states that are managing well have given that help to those who have been suffering. I mean, you've seen this resurgence of spirit in some, when the going gets so tough. There's been that help here. Let's see, Prince of Pentacles. This is money news, so it's coming back to the economy, the need to act now. Again, when we may not be privy to what the leaders are seeing about their own economies, they have to stand and defend. Seven of Wands, stand and defend not just their economies, but your future as well, your economic stability. The Ace of Swords, currently the truth, and I am getting a real pull to the truth and information delivery, clarity, strategy, objectivity, new starts, and unity. Yeah, okay, they're good cards for the here and now. Let's see what the hope and fear is. Planning. Have they done enough planning? Let's keep going. The Lover's card. In the outcome, we've got that's a trump card, but I'm not going there yet. That is a marriage, a commitment, and we've got the review here. I think it's softly, slowly going back to the past. Yeah, I'm seeing that this easing of restrictions will progress in these states where they've had, and because there's unity, it's easier to implement this than what it has been. But I just feel that there's this Trumpian energy hanging over everything. Particularly, I might be picking up this whole bailout of estate stuff. What's the genesis of that? Where's that coming from? Work, getting people back to work. Okay, so again, a lot of pressure. The Empress, so the economy can tick on. What I'm feeling here is I'm feeling that the governors are getting a lot of pressure from the federal government to get people back to work, to protect the economy because of the downturn in employment levels. And also they're aware of their own need to keep refilling those coffers. So there's a lot of pressure being put on, generally speaking, on leaders, governors, mayors to open up, and it's a lot of that pressure's coming from the federal government. So I think most people would want to stay bunkered down until the danger had reasonably passed, but there's just so much pressure to get people back to work. That's what I'm feeling. Will the easing be okay? They're going to have to maintain close relationships with everyone involved at the state level or the county level or the city level. They're going to have to. It's just going to have to be so. Cooperation is the word. There's going to have to be constant review. With this Six of Cups card, going back to the past, going back to a time when things were easier, perhaps, is a good omen. I'm just going to another good omen. So I'm just going to pull another card here. Strength and endurance. Yeah, it's not going to be without its troubles in these states that have already peaked. They're going to have to be it's constant vigilance, obviously. But with this strength and endurance card, this unity that I'm seeing there, and this real investigation, focus on investigation, review, I think it's going to be okay. It's almost like they're going to slow the speed of the chariot. They already have. Now, at the base of the pack, obviously, what is happening in real time, we do have the loss card, but I'm pulling the wish card and the miracle card. I somehow feel these states that have done the right thing are going to be okay, even though it's going to be terribly hard for them. And I do feel this unity was the key. Unity, cooperation, all of the things that we know work in a crisis. In crisis management are coming, those chickens are coming home to roost. Now, having said that, it would also mean that those states that haven't done the right thing, those chickens may be coming home to roost as well. For my viewers that live where you've got governors who have been reckless, Florida now holding back those statistics. Georgia just, get them to work and be damned with the consequences. Those of my viewers are going to be, I think, going to be, we have to also understand that people have a sense of self-responsibility as well, and I think you're going to be doing what you need to do to navigate these times. Let's have a look at. I'm sort of feeling the ones that aren't taking the precautions are the ones that are going to, unfortunately, pay the price. So let's have a look at those states just quickly, 4 cards. Those states which haven't done the right thing and are opening too early when they've still. It's quite clear that their numbers aren't peaking yet. What's going to happen with these states? Yeah, the Hierophant, judgment, higher sources, challenged by, their governments are going to be challenged by this CV. Let's just call it CV. That's my card, the Sun card, because that their governments, the signifier cards, their governments are going to be challenged in the challenge position by this virus. Let's just pull a simple Celtic cross. We do have a sense of karma here. The Wheel of Fortune is the foundation of the reading. Eventually, things are going to be okay because I keep getting that Temperance card and that Six of Swords. This is also tempting the Wheel of Fate as well. Queen of Swords is in the past, so it's almost like the objectivity kind of went out the window a little bit. The Lovers, what's hovering over this reading is Donald Trump and their allegiance to him. And we've got lockdown. So I feel that as unfortunately in some of these states, as numbers increase, as they're easing restrictions, they're going to have to eventually go back into some kind of restriction. It's their economy, obviously. It's the shrinking of their economy. But they're going to be challenged by the number of people who are getting sick from this. Queen of Cups, nurturing support. This is what we hope for, that this won't occur. But this Queen also carries a bit of a harder edge with that cup, that lid of the cup that she might want to open. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. So yes, they're going to have to review. We're all having to review. Three of Cups, circles of support. And we have the High Priestess. Okay. Wouldn't you know it, that Trump is all over this reading in the outcome positions. We've got him as an issue, cause, what's crowning this reading. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, having to go back to the drawing board, rework your plans as the outcome, in the outcome position. We do have a cover-up happening, and we do have secrets, I feel. This Three of Cups, circles of support, generally is a positive card, but whenever I'm reading on Republicans, I'm feeling this as a cover-up, and we've got keeping secrets. You could get the Tower card at the base of the pack. You could get, and the King of Swords, much more needing investigation, but this could also be Barr as well coming in, and we do have the Devil here. Look, I think, let me just pull one on that High Priestess. Temperance, okay, balance or imbalance in that case. It's not, we're not going to see, any of us are not going to see a real reprieve until December, I feel, a balancing out of this. But I do feel that it's just going to get worse in these states, that there could be some actual hiding of figures, to balance the books. That could be what you're seeing as well. There's just not the strategy there or the planning that I had in that previous reading, and you saw those cards. There's just not that strategy there, unfortunately, with that Tower card there. So, we might stop hearing about the numbers in these states in May as we think they're rising. They may just stop providing them. I don't know how that's going to work, but it looks like somebody's going to try and keep back and hold back statistics. And there's that overarching threat in the states that have done the right thing. There's that overarching threat of Trump, and he's got the federal government in those readings too. So, having said that, I go back to the Star of Hope and that Temperance card, and that is again another reminder and validation not to lose hope, not to. I mean, we'll all get through this. We will all get through this. In Australia, my Prime Minister is almost going to war, metaphorically speaking, with China. China makes up 33% of who we trade with, and they buy 33% of our goods, our products, our produce, 33%, and they've threatened Australia if we don't back off this investigation. It may not send their students to university here. We've got billion-dollar industry and international students in our universities as well. So there's all sorts of threats coming from Beijing toward Australia. Should the Australian Prime Minister back down? Let's have a look. Well, let's read on Trump. I don't want to make this too long. I'll save the Australian Prime Minister and the Australian situation and Beijing for another reading. Let's move to Trump in May. Show me Trump in May. I'm just going to pull a Celtic cross on Trump in May. Show me Trump in May. Trump in May. What's he doing? What's going on there? This federal, this threat overhanging everything. What are we likely to see come forward from him in May? Show me Trump in May. Show me Trump in May. Show me Trump in May. Okay, what have we got? Oh. Victory. Six of Wands is the victory card. Let's not go too far with that. He sees himself as the victor. Let's see what the challenge card is. The Princess of Swords. But the truth, I'm going to Kushner and Kushner's statement that everything that the Trump White House has done to manage this has been a success. Unfortunately, we've got some kind of truth emerging in May for Trump. Around this could even be his 2016 victory. As if things couldn't get bad enough, there's that as well. Okay, so there's also a spy in the camp there as well. There could be somebody coming forward from within, a whistleblower coming forward. There's revelations. We're going to hear something around. Could even be something else comes out about Russian interference in the 2020 election or overseas interference. The Nine of Wands, he's battling big time. This is the card of, battle weary. He's been wounded severely at this stage. I did unfortunately have a dream this week, not the week where I dreamt that he was taking poison, drinking the poison chalice, or consuming poison before he talked about that episode. Go back to one of my to that reading if you want to know what came forward there. No, this dream was either last night or the night before, and I saw him in. I saw that there was a ending. I don't like reading on that, but there was some kind of ending there. Because I saw the coffin. Now the coffin doesn't necessarily mean literally, although it can. I saw his coffin. It could simply mean that he's coming. His presidency is coming to an end. Do have the King of Cups there in the background in the past. In a way, politics in America, even though you can't see it fully, they've already turned a corner. There's already people that will vote him out in November. It's a fait accompli almost, because this is in the past position. I don't think he could do anything at this point to resurrect his presidency. Three of Pentacles, again, it comes back to working with others. Who's he working with? Because the Three of Pentacles is indicating dark money. This could even be overseas, working with an overseas. I'm getting the pull to an overseas government. Who's he working with? Let's see what else we've got here. The Seven of Wands, he's going to continually have to defend himself. And, he's going to try and stand his ground in the immediate future. This is also, I'll bring the laptop down. This is a long list of if you look at my reading on that stimulus package, I predicted that the Democrats had been pushed and rushed because of the situation, and that the devil was indeed in the detail. I think you're going to be hearing, because of the audit and oversight, and I know Republicans are getting a bit nervous about Trump interfering in this oversight of that package. I think you're going to start to hear more about some of the anomalies that have occurred here, because he's going to have to defend himself. This is going to be in the beginning of the month. Money going out where it shouldn't have gone out. We've got the Prince of Cups here in the present. Again, this came up in the other readings as well. Again, this can, with Trump, this can be the poison chalice that is impacting on us all. But it is an offer. It is a spin. It can be a spin. It can be a very quick energy. Let's see what the environment around the Six of Pentacles. You could get, I don't know where your budgetary packages, stimulus packages are up to, but there could be coming also announcement of a package that, if this hasn't already happened, because this is in the here and now, more money, more help is on the way. The hopes and the fears, there's just tremendous grief here. Tremendous grief all around as to what he's done. and how he has managed this this virus. We do have strength and endurance, so he's going to show us. He's going to make a show of strength in May. What is this? What is this? The Princess of Wands. Okay, headlines. He's going to announce something designed to be a show of strength. The Three of Wands. This is also the card for Ukraine. It's can be waiting for his ship to come in. There's something here that he's been working on also. Let's see what is at the base of the pack. Yeah, okay. Why wouldn't I be surprised? Okay, so we've got the Ace of Pentacles, income sources, income streams, and we've also got the High Priestess. So mirroring that is some kind of information being held back. And we also have the Devil card here, this toxic energy that we see so often. I'm going to clarify this this strength and endurance and this Three of Pentacles, because I feel this is in here. I don't want to say that he's up to something, but this is what it's feeling like. So let's clarify this Three of Pentacles. So there'll be an announcement of money coming. He will continue to defend his handling of this crisis, but he's also working on something because it is designed to produce a result for him in some way. What is this Three of Pentacles? Dark money in politics. Show me what this... Why is the Three of Pentacles here? Why is the Three of Pentacles here? Why is the Three of Pentacles here? Yeah, okay. So we've got the anxiety card. It's something that has that he is anxious about. What is this? Retreat and loss. Okay, Three of Pentacles. And the Nine of Cups. Okay, he's approaching somebody for help in some way. What is this? The Nine of Coins. Yeah. Okay. So this is possibly working with Russia again to increase his, and this is what I felt when in the reading. I felt that there could even be an announcement that Russia's interfering again. Let's have a look at this strength and endurance, May. What's going on here with this strength and endurance? He's working with someone. There is money involved, and it seems like Russia is there. This is almost like a list of things that he has to deliver. So you could also see things going overseas as well, because we've got this Ace of Pentacles. There's imagine if all of these things were audited. If the stockpile was audited. This is what I feel could be announced as well in May, that there could be closer scrutiny of the way he's managed this. So the Strength card. Show me what is the Strength and Endurance card doing here? What is the Strength and Endurance card? Strength and Endurance. Three of Coins again. Okay, so this could even be campaign donations, dark money coming into his campaign. The Nine of, you saw how I shuffled, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. Okay, so I feel that this is to do with his campaign. Money coming into it, money moving through it, and also could be Russian interference, because I do have the Moon card here, or some sort of overseas interference in the election in some way. We've got the Moon card, secrets. We've got the Magician, of course, conjuring something up. We have the Six of Cups and the Empress card. Yeah, I think that's what Russia did in the past. They are already doing or trying to do again. So he's working with his allies to strengthen his chances in November. I've never seen Trump winning in November. So what occurred back then will not occur again. people are just, it doesn't matter what he would do, what Russia would do, there's not the level of gullibility. The situation, the scenarios have changed. So let's just have a look again. Will foreign interference be successful in changing the result of the election? Will foreign interference be successful in changing the result of the election? My image is the Star of Hope again, and this is why it's there. So we've got the hangman, something being suspended. We've got the Emperor, control, but this is also Trump. Again, his presidency not going anywhere. We've got the 10 of coins. Of course, we've got the Trump organisation and the Page of Cups, bombshell news. Before we get to the election, he's going to have to confront some kind of investigation or truth, which is going to change things considerably. We do have the Palace of Wands here, inspiration. People are going to be dwelling in their in their passion. They're going to be passionate. We've got the Two of Pentacles. Again, this manipulation, I feel, whatever. This is the Mueller report and more, plus. This is, I feel something is going to show this manipulation. And I do feel the Strength and Endurance card is coming through here for not for Trump. So, again, it's like the eye of the tiger. Trump better be careful because whichever way I pull these cards, they seem to go back to the same thing. The Star of Hope, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, Strength and Endurance. And of course we get the Hanged Man, something being stopped in its tracks. So no, I don't feel that Russia will be successful this time around. Now, by all means, fast forward, flip to the parts of the reading that you enjoy, and I'll be back again with another reading again shortly. Thank you for tuning in.